It was compelling. It was the last congressional race in the country to be decided, and by less than 1,000 votes. And we are expecting to see the sequel in 2020, Cox versus Valadao, the rematch. Congressman T.J. Cox, nice enough to stick around, joining us here in studio once again. And as you heard, David Valadao, he's hinted to me he is going to be running. He confirmed that by filing. But no official announcement just yet. I think we all want to see the sequel. Do you want to see the sequel, the rematch?
Well, here's what we know is that as an elected, you're always going to have a challenge. But that's a good thing. I mean, it's a really good thing because it gives you an opportunity to really show what you've been doing for the people of the district, how you've been delivering. When I ran, and even today, the thing I tell every constituent that I meet with is that I work for you. And my entire office works for you to make sure that you don't have an issue with Social Security, with veterans, with immigration, with the IRS. And so we're here to be as responsive as possible. And so an election just gives me an opportunity to show how we've been delivering for the people of the district on the bigger things as well.
And I noticed that you actually took out some money to do some polling recently. About first 6 months in, you wanted to see how you're polling. What did you learn?
I tell you what, I learned that people really appreciate what I've been doing, about how I've been getting out there and delivering for them. We, as I said, we've delivered, we heard from TSA agents during the government shutdown, right? And based on their concerns, that translated into immediate legislation. We heard from this veteran I talked about. His concerns translated into immediate legislation. And I can tell you what, recently, a Republican farmer came up and said, I didn't vote for you, but I think you're doing a good job.
Well, I would say this, if we see the sequel, I think it could get nasty, as you know. You were the last congressional race that was decided the last time around in 2018. So we know Valadao does have a financial past. Your financial past could be attacked by Valadao as well. Declaring your financial ties here in the Valley. You had one in Canada. There have been reports of the liens assessed against you personally. A lot of this is public knowledge now. How do you think, or how concerned are you that may be the center stone of this race?
Oh, what we know, I mean, that's absolutely going to be the center stone. These are just their standard Washington games, which you saw over the last election, trying to paint me as something that everyone knows I'm not, right? I've been in this community delivering, creating well-paying jobs, creating businesses, making a real difference. And the reason why they do that is why? Because I'm fighting to reduce the cost of prescription drugs. I'm fighting for quality, affordable health care for all. I'm fighting for clean air and clean water. And the special interests don't like that.
How do you answer to the reports that you haven't been, your disclosure is coming up August 13th. You asked for extension. Is that going to be disclosed August 13th?
Absolutely. Once again, these are just the standard Washington political games. People out there know that I'm delivering for them, that I'm out there in the community. I can tell you what, I was just out in a small town, and the Republican mayor said, I've seen you more in the first 6 months than I saw the last guy in 6 years.
Okay, so, I mean, how about the Central Valley Sports Foundation? I know you divested from it, but it's been declared delinquent at the Gateway Ice Center. The Gateway Ice Center is something that, you helped Terrence Fraser start in 2015, and now it's up for sale for $4.3 million, roughly. Things like that. Are you worried that people are going to come and attack your character and saying, hey, he wasn't able to promise what the Gateway Ice Center was supposed to become when you helped take over in 2015?
Well, there's a lot still to be said about that, but here's what is important. If you talk to anybody there, they say that, hey, thank you, T.J. Cox. Because of you, this has stayed open for the last 4 years. If it wasn't for you, this would have been closed. Thank you for the contributions you've made to this community, because if you didn't do this, none of this stuff would have happened. As I've talked, we've talked about this before, is that the plus side on all this is that I've allowed all this to happen, for all these wonderful recreational opportunities to be available to the citizens of the Central Valley. And I did that as a private citizen. Where were the electeds on that? Why doesn't the city of Fresno have an ice rink?
Well, the Gateway Ice Center, though, it could close if there isn't a buyer.
It could have closed 4 years ago, but for me.
Are you completely divested from it? Because you did, I think you offered about $500,000. Are you hoping to get a return on that?
But yeah, I don't know what you mean about the specifics, but I was never an owner of it, right?
Right.
The foundation had a lease on it. The foundation had a lease on it when it's operating it, and and it's still operating today. I can tell you that.
Are you worried that it may not be operating soon?
Yeah, sure. It's a valuable public amenity. I mean, a very, very public amenity. It's the only ice rink between Stockton and Bakersfield. And you talked about there's other places. Ice rinks are typically owned by municipalities. I can tell you it's a shortfall, and I think it's a failing that the city doesn't have its own ice facility.
Let me ask you about this, because members of Congress don't have to reveal their tax returns. But Governor Newsom wants the presidential candidates to release their last 5 years of their tax returns to get on the primary ballot. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, that's a state thing. Is that enshrined in the Constitution? It's not. But I think it's good policy. Is that there's got to be some type of reason why, that every president since in the last 50 years.
Invasion of privacy? That's infringing on constitutionality.
I tell you what, is that the fact that they have to release them is something a lot to be decided on the state level. It's certainly nothing in the Constitution. But, I mean, and voters are going to have to decide for themselves whether or not that's a pertinent issue to them.
All right. You've done a lot.
Yes.
First 200 days. Are you really expecting a rematch? Let me ask you that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't win by 862 votes, and I think the Arts think that they missed an opportunity. But I can tell you what, I'm very much looking towards a rematch. So once again, to showcase about how darn effective we can be. During the campaign, I said, I don't know if there is a district in America where flipping the member of Congress can have a more profound difference in the lives of the people. And that's what I'm seeing today, making a real difference for the people I serve in the 21st.
We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much.
All right.